marketing power.
Yeah.
We're not going to have a Super Bowl ad this weekend, right? So you're not going to get
Oh,
that
dang.
out
I
there.
was going to be looking for it this weekend.
Exactly. Um, so it's like, how do you get that story? Like we have a meaningful story
Mm.
behind the brand. Everything we do is really thoughtfully crafted. But how do you relay that to
Yes.
consumers? So I think that's the big challenge without a, huge marketing budget like those players have. How do you get that across the consumer?
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely critical. And I mean, I always tell people, I think you're always selling to some degree, whether you're a salesperson or not. And if you don't have a good, genuine, compelling story, it's much, much harder to do what you're doing. So when you were first getting, like, was storytelling kind of always something you were good at, or was this something you kind of had to develop as you got more and more into it, or how did that kind of go for you?
I think there's a couple of pieces there.
Mm,
One, we are always selling, but I never thought of myself as a very good salesperson. Like
mm,
that's not something that I found was like, a core skill of mine.
yeah.
I've always been kind of like much more in the thick of it. Like I'm good at like putting together, the presentations and the documents and the
Yep.
numbers and the spreadsheet. Um, what I found though is I can sell and tell the story if it's something I like really have to believe in. So if I
Yep.
didn't, that's why when I said like the first iteration of the product I didn't love, I would be terrible at trying to sell to other people
Mm,
if I did not really, really like, if that's not what I really, drink and love, I would be terrible at it. So one, it had to be something that I feel really, passionate and I could stand behind. And I'm
yeah.
a very particular, meticulous person. So like if it wasn't done exactly to kind of my exacting standards, I would have a really hard time also selling it.
Yeah.
I don't think I appreciated how much my voice would be a part of it.
Mm,
In all
hmm.
honesty, starting it, I thought, yes, I'm going to be the one talking about, but I don't think I saw myself as being the ongoing spokesperson
Yeah. Yep.
brand.
Yeah.
Um, and I've actually in the past been a very, very nervous public speaker.
Mm.
Um, I hated getting up in front of people. Even though I did debate in high school, it's a different type of speaking. It's like a,
Yeah. Very prepared and
argumentative. Exactly.
yeah.
And I remember my first few interviews, I was so nervous. My first TV segment, I remember like going through my head over and over what I'm going to say. One of the first podcast interviews, I was so prepared. I'd written everything out.
Yeah.
It was probably one of my worst interviews ever. I don't read any questions ahead of time now. I just go off the cuff. Someone told me, gave me some guidance, which I thought was fantastic. I think about it all the time. No one is going to ask you anything about your business that you don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you don't know more.
Yes.
And I just go in thinking that there's nothing's going to stop me. I know my, company better than anybody. And going in with that perspective just took like a huge weight off,
Yeah. You are the
my
expert.
shoulders. Right. Um, so I think that's like a little bit, but that took, you know, that definitely, it took some effort and work, um, to get comfortable with that. And I also realized, and I'm sure, founders listening to this will understand that we talked about how can I stand out versus huge brands. Well, there has to be a personal connection. So if
Yes.
I'm not the personal connection, I'm not the one out there, people don't see that there's like really a real person, a real
Mhm.
team sitting in my kitchen here who is like, running this company and that we're not a conglomerate with like all these different layers. There's no hierarchy. There, that um like very high touch and personal touch. And so I think that's why I realized how important it is that I'm the one, out there and sharing the story.
Yeah, 100%. And do you feel like after, almost 5 years, or yes, just about 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Of doing it, do you still feel like you are like the biggest advocate, the biggest spokesperson, or do you feel like having added some people to your team that you've kind of taken a step back from that a little bit?
I think I think I still am. I mean,
Hmm.
everyone who we bring on has to be like, I mean, I don't work with anybody who doesn't like try the product first and make sure they
Yeah.
like it
Yep.
because they have to be
Yeah.
like all in, right?
Yep.
Um, but it's still like I'm still a big piece of it and sharing the story. And because that's also something I like to do. Like I love consumer facing events, for example. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't. A lot of founders don't. I stand in like grocery stores all the time, liquor stores all the time, doing demos, tastings. I like getting that like reaction
Yeah.
back from people and talking to them and having them try it. And, probably not a lot of founders want to show up and do that. I like doing.
Well, I mean, I mean, I have to imagine because again, I've never had owned a spirit company of any kind. I've never done, what you just described. But I would have to imagine that that must feel really exciting and get you jazzed up and really probably validating. I would think that your product is being consumed by the people that you want to, and they're enjoying it, right?
Right. And that's kind of what I think about when you talk about the hurdles. Anytime there's like, oh my gosh, it's been, like getting knocked out all over, again.
Yes. Oh
And
man.
then you go to something like that. And when I get the positive response, like, oh, people love the bottle. They love the taste. They love, they're excited about the story. They want, then I'm like, okay, yes, we have great, when you know that you have, great positioning, product packaging, and purpose,
Hmm.
like, and the people recognize that, that's kind of, for sure what lifts you up on the hard days.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. And it's so easy to forget is the purpose piece of it. It's like why you started a business, you're starting a new job, whatever the case might be. It's like why are you doing it? What's really the motivating factor behind it? And that will lead you to the stories like we were talking about before that will really resonate with the right people at the right time, in my opinion. Does that sound, I mean, do you agree with that?
Yes. I mean, I think you have to have, listen, there was something about, right? I wanted to make a tequila that was additive free, clean, additive free, but still like really easy to drink and
Yeah.
approachable. Something that I could like put on the rocks or tequila soda. I don't have to like put in a cocktail. I don't make cocktails. I'm a terrible mixologist. I only drink tequila and soda or tequila on the rocks. Like literally, I don't even cut a lime. I'm too lazy. But
I'm there with you.
so that it was like super approachable, easy to drink. I don't like a lot of bite. I don't like it alcohol forward. So I'm like, okay, well, that was the product piece of it. I wanted to focus on consumers like me because I thought no one's focused on us. And then like I wanted